What would you do if you found out that your husband was a mafia soldier? If he had to choose between his family and his life in the mafia, which one would he choose? These women were faced with this exact situation, and their stories are more shocking than you can imagine. Welcome back, everyone. Here you're about to see some of the most insane mafia stories ever. So sit back and enjoy. No. 6. A Twisted Betrayal. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1927, Henry Hill got involved with the mafia at an early age. He quickly rose through the ranks and became one of the most feared mobsters of all time. But not everyone knew that he was leading a double life. While by day he was a seemingly normal family man, by night he was a ruthless killer for the Lucchese crime family. When Henry wasn't spending time with his wife and kids, he was busy planning and executing hits for the mob. It seemed like he could keep up this double life forever until the FBI caught on to him. They offered him a deal: turn informant or face a life in prison. In the end, Henry chose to cooperate with the feds, which led to his family being put into witness protection. And although he kept his wife and kids safe, it also meant that he had to leave them behind. This must have been a horrible choice for him to make. No. 5. The Life of a Mafia Princess. Growing up in Little Italy in the 1980s, Karen was used to the finer things in life. She had everything she could ever want, from designer clothes to expensive jewelry. But what she didn't have was a father. You see, her dad, John Gotti, was a notorious mobster who was always away on business. And when he wasn't around, Karen's mother took over the household. But she wasn't exactly your typical mob wife. She was beautiful, sophisticated, and had a taste for luxury that rivaled her husband's. She lavished Karen and her siblings with material possessions and made sure they never went without anything. But despite the family's wealth, Karen always felt like there was something missing. Maybe it was having a father who was present in her life. Or maybe it was just the normalcy that she craved. Either way, she grew up feeling like an outsider in her own family. In the end, John Gotti's criminal activities caught up with him, and he was sentenced to life in prison. This meant that Karen and her family had to say goodbye to their lavish lifestyle and move into witness protection. Although she's now living a normal life, Karen will never forget the unique upbringing she had. Number 4. A Secret Admirer. For most people, high school is a time of awkward first dates and stolen kisses. But for one girl, it was much more dangerous. At the age of 17, she was hanging out with the wrong crowd and soon found herself involved with a local mobster named Tommy. Tommy was a senior member of the Genovese crime family, and he had his sights set on the girl. But she wasn't interested in him at first. That all changed when he started showering her with expensive gifts and taking her to exclusive parties. Before long, she was head over heels in love with the mobster, but she wasn't the only one. Tommy's friends and associates also became enamored with the girl, and soon she was being stalked and harassed by them as well. This went on for months, until one day the girl's father found out. He confronted Tommy, and the two got into a fight. The mobster was badly beaten and left for dead, but he survived the attack and vowed revenge. He went to the girl's house and kidnapped her. He then forced her to marry him and took her to live with him in a small town. There she lived in fear of her life, knowing that if she tried to escape, Tommy would kill her. After years of being trapped in this nightmare, the girl finally managed to escape and tell her story to the police. Tommy was arrested and sentenced to prison, where he remains to this day. No. 3. The Godfather's Daughter. When you think of the most powerful families in the Mafia, the Corleones are probably at the top of your list. Led by the infamous Don Vito Corleone, this crime family ruled the streets of New York with an iron fist. But even they weren't immune to the problems that come with having a teenage daughter. In the classic Mafia movie The Godfather, Vito's youngest daughter, Connie, gets married to a man her father disapproves of. To make matters worse, the marriage ends in divorce just a short time later. Connie is left with 2 young children to care for. As any good father would, Vito steps in to help his daughter and grandchildren. He even goes so far as to have his enemies killed, to ensure Connie's safety. Nothing is too much for this loving grandfather. Even when she starts dating a man Vito doesn't approve of, he still lets Connie's new beau move in with his daughter and grandkids. That's because Vito knows that Connie is a strong-willed woman, and she needs someone to protect her and the kids. Plus, it gives him another excuse to keep tabs on his favorite granddaughter, Mary. Number 2. A mobster's love. When you hear the word mafia, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Gangsters, violence, organized crime. But did you know that there's also a lot of love in the mafia? Sure, it might be twisted and dysfunctional at times, but it's love nonetheless. Take, for example, the story of one mobster's wife. When her husband was arrested and sent to prison for racketeering and extortion, she didn't waste any time in visiting him. In fact, she rushed to his side as soon as she heard the news. But she wasn't the only one. Within hours, a steady stream of women began showing up at the prison gates claiming to be the mobster's wife. Confused and angry, he demanded to know what was going on. His friends and family eventually filled him in. Apparently, word had gotten around that the mobster was going to prison, and all sorts of women had shown up claiming to be his wife in order to take advantage of the situation. Some wanted money, others just wanted to be close to the mobster. But none of them were actually his wife. Enraged by this deception, the mobster vowed to punish those responsible. And although he never found out who started this rumor, he did manage to make one woman pay dearly for trying to scam him. Number 1. A mother's love. Being the child of a mafia boss is not easy. You're constantly in danger and have to be on guard at all times. Not to mention the pressure of living up to your father's name is immense. But one mother would do anything to protect her son from the dangers of the mafia, even if it meant sacrificing her own life. The mother of Junior Soprano knew her son was involved with the mafia, and she did everything she could to try and get him to quit. She begged him, she pleaded with him, she even threatened him, but nothing worked. Junior was too deep into the mafia life to turn back now. One day, Junior's mother received a mysterious phone call. On the other end of the line was a hitman who had been hired to kill Junior. The hitman told the mother that if she didn't cooperate, he would kill her son. But the mother didn't hesitate. She agreed to let the hitman into her house and led him straight to Junior's room. There she woke her sleeping son and told him to come with her. The two went to the kitchen where the mother tied Junior up and gagged him. Then she turned to the hitman and said, "You'll have to kill me first." And that's exactly what the hitman did. He shot the mother dead in front of her son. But before he could do any more damage, Junior broke free and fought back. The hitman was no match for the powerful mobster and was soon lying dead on the floor. Although Junior was now safe, he would never forget the ultimate sacrifice that his mother had made for him. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Which story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for more amazing content. See you next time.